Welcome back, folks. It's Ruth-Ann live streaming here from Art of the City, and I am coming live from my art gallery in Solana Beach, California. I want to wish you all a happy Memorial Day. I know a lot of you are really wanting to get out to the beaches and parks and that type of thing. I'd say if you're going to do that, make sure you're wearing your mask. I can't believe I drove around San Diego this last couple days and just checking out kind of the climate in my car. And I could not believe how many people were out and about inside restaurants and bars without a mask. And I know we all want to not wear a mask, but I think it's so important that we continue the protocol so that we are not, putting ourselves or other people in danger. So a little tip from me, I feel very passionate about how far we've gotten in this battle against the coronavirus. And I think it's so important that we just continue to be responsible. So, if you're going to go out there, keep your mask on and, maybe drink through a straw. I don't know. But I wanted to also dedicate this particular series today to all those veterans out there who have served on behalf of our country. This goes out to you. We're very, very appreciative for your service. So today I have a really special guest, a dear friend of mine. We had his work at Seaport Village when we had that gallery there. And he is one of those amazing artists because he comes from this very rich background of being classically trained. He immigrated here to our country and he's originally from the Ukraine. We're going to hear his whole story, but he's one of those artists that has a very, very unique style. And he actually coined the phrase that I pulled this from his website called fine line technique. So this will be very interesting for us today because we're going to hear about his style, where he came from, what he's contributed to the world through his artwork. And I'm really pleased to bring Andrei Protsouk, and I'm always messing up his last name, and we're going to get the right pronunciation. But let me see if I can get Andrei here on the stream here. It always takes a second. Hello there. Can you hear us okay?
How you doing? Happy
Good. Welcome to the show. Tell me how you pronounce your last name because I butcher it every time.
It's Andrei Protsouk. It's very old Ukrainian name. It's very hard to pronounce right even in Ukraine. So it's really very rare. So
I got the first name. I always get the first name right. It's the last name that I always have hard with the pronunciation.
I even sign soon I move here. Start to sign my painting just Andrei, so people just put Andrei.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better. It's not just me. So how have you been, my friend? What's going on with you in your gallery there?
Actually, we have a Thursday open door just for you, Ruth-Ann, and all your people who follow you, your friends and everything. So welcome to our gallery, So we have like the show just trying to get ready for the opening. Everybody promised to maybe in a couple of weeks we can be open. So we're trying to kind of put some
and tell the folks where you're live streaming from.
This is our gallery, me and Dennis, he holding a camera, my son. So we're showing not only my work, but I'm prime artist here. We're also showing some artists that I love very much.
And where's your gallery located?
It's in Strasbourg, Pennsylvania. It's right in the border of the, New Jersey and Pennsylvania. It's eastern Pennsylvania, right in the border. Actually, there's all the Indian tribe. It's Delaware. It's called the Delaware tribe, because it was such a big population. Actually, it was going all the way to the New York, through Philadelphia and New Jersey. So it was a big populated area. And I know why, because it's very beautiful. The mountains, I can see them, why it was attractive to me.
Right. So have they opened up the stores and the restaurants where you folks are at?
No, they keep everything locked. We're in lockdown. I have my coronavirus gear here in the case of someone in a studio, in a gallery, But basically, everybody waiting and anxious to see when it can be open, because everybody kind of suffering in a way of don't see anybody or don't share what they have, me was working very hard for these coronavirus days, just producing new pieces of art.
Right. Well, I think we're all in the same boat. I mean, everybody here, even though they've loosened some things, people are not jumping right back in, which I'm one of those. I'm staying a little still sequestered. I kind of want to see what happens, but I am excited to get back out there. And, we opened our gallery, like I said, appointment only. We've had a few people come in, which has been nice, but I think people are still a little hesitant.
But that's what it is. I think, Ruth-Ann, people will realize the art it's very safe in a way, much safer just go to the stores or bars because you don't interact with lots of people. So you basically kind of in low numbers of the humans inside of the space. So you just spend some time in art, especially
Right.
no, it's very protective, like very clean and everything, so you don't have to touch anything. You just observe.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing we have. So why don't you share with the folks, give us a little bit of your history, because I know you've had probably some of the most rigorous art training. Um, you know,
Yeah, well, the thing is about the art school, I finished three of them, and all my teachers was always kind of cheer me up and go to another level. There was very high opinion about me, and especially my parents too. They want me to see great art, being great artist. So I try all my life to succeed. So I promise them to do it. So let's
and you,
let's take a walk to the gallery a little bit, and then we can go to our studio. I can share some my
okay, I'm
images.
going to minimize my screen here so we can see more of you. And there we are. So you've got the full screen now. So go ahead and give us a tour.
Yeah, now so this is our private a showroom of like paintings I created through different times. This is the most long pieces from all the shows we made together actually in New York and Las Vegas. This Fever, the Embrace, the Golfer. If we go here, so you can see the most iconic piece everybody knows through the internet. That original piece, it's called Oyster. This one we did for the show 2 years ago for New York City, with the arts.
Oh, I love that. That is just stunning.
Yeah, it's called a cocktail, Empire Cocktail. So she's on top of the Empire State Building, And that one I created, we had a show in London. So this is the same kind of idea, but it's a French tower, the Eiffel Tower. So we have a great red wine in it. If you go in the
Wow.
top of the Eiffel Tower, they have a restaurant there, so they have served that red wine. It's called Rouge de l'Eiffel. So I painting about it. This is one of the great pieces. Also, everybody loved that. It's called Have a Nice Day. It's kind of my idea of create really American painting. I was always thinking how I can do it. So
Beautiful.
and this one is also for the show we did in New York last year that was Cosmopolitan. But has also like a gold leaf on it. It's very complex piece for me. I tried to make it more like interactive. And so this is also from Wild West collection from Double Barrel.
I love some of your new works, like that one that you have of the girl with the cowboy hat on. That's a great piece.
Actually, this is the collection I'm working on. It's called Indians and Cowboys. So I'm working now on a piece about Indians too. So it will be like a big show when I finish it up. They will be smoking the pipe piece.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, can you share with us a little bit? I read on your website that you had coined this phrase called fine line technique.
Yeah,
What?
that's what my favorite thing to do basically is creating mixed media and watercolor. And if you can come and look close, they start with that very fine tiny line, which is just black and white, and then I kind of paint it over with watercolor and fill it up. But I have like some sketches, like this one, for example, so you can see just. line with a little bit of the shade of the pencil with color, so you can see how fine the line is. I just do it in ink, I use Chinese ink,
Right.
and
And
it's
does every painting start out with a drawing, even on the canvas?
yeah. I want to show you how it started actually. Yeah,
Okay.
it is a started with I have another beautiful artist here.
There's so many beautiful pieces.
Well, first of all, I do like a sketch first. Of course, to create a painting, you have to make a small sketch, how it goes and everything. Then you spend time doing this fine line technique in a way with filling up a little bit of the texture and charcoal.
Okay.
But I left that piece because every painting I created, it starts like this. So I do like it's called imprimatura in Italian, so it's not translation. Except to say it's like preparation. So you put like shades, so like middle. You basically put in middle color and middle tone. So when you paint, you just use like you can leave some of the dark ones, put the colors. I already see that color. It was very hard for me to leave it that way, but I just leave one, to see to show you how it's done. And
Those
then
are beautiful by themselves, even before you add the color.
exactly that's why it left like this. Like there's only one color. It was just under. That's it. Yeah. And this is the
Yeah.
second stage. See, after the texture and everything, I start to put some little different colors. But you can see it was almost like black and white.
Right.
I just
I
start
see that.
I just started to put some. It's called Skyline. So there's a new piece. It's not finished yet, but it's just started.
So you've got many, many layers of paint happening here.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's why they did with brush. This one with brush and a different acrylic, and then I just use it takes time because I just use the acrylic after them. So I'm not using brush anymore except if I do detail.
Okay. And then when does it evolve into where you put the gold leaf on some and that type of
That's,
technique?
that's in the process already when you're already working on it. This one is painting and working on it takes some time when it's dry. You just have to wait when it's dry. And then I do also for special clients, if they like it, I do hand painted frames for the originals. That way you don't have to look for a gold frame or standard size frame or whatever. It's just the complete whole idea.
It's really beautiful because sometimes, I mean, I love really beautiful framing, but unless the framing is done right, sometimes it can actually distract from the artwork. In this case, it's becoming part of your actual creation, which is wonderful.
Yeah, that way soon people see how it's painted. They cannot see just a gold frame or silver frame. So
Right.
and we're offering for the almost the same price than just a good size the frame will be.
No, that's a really nice that you do that, and it really adds to the final work. So I think one of the things in the art world that you've really made an impact because your style is so distinctive. I mean, anyone who has seen your work, they can identify it immediately. And people really love the social commentary. Can you share a little bit about what you're creating and the philosophy, the emotion behind it?
Yeah, well, the philosophy of my art basically it's like one word. It's love. I paint only about human feeling, love, which is sometimes if people think it's very simple, but in real life, actually, it's very hard and deep feelings. With including all different emotions. So I find myself go to the museums in different countries. Of course, I know the history about. Basically, if you think about it, all great painters they all paint about that feeling.
Yes.
You almost cannot find any another object if you paint, of course, humans, because between humans you can see now what they're suffering with COVID-19. They basically cannot stand each other in home. That's probably what it is. They want to go out, you know. That's kind of first time they see the kids. They have to read them books, Probably the first time father was reading a book,
Sure.
So that's what I think people have to concentrate on it, of their own feelings, and it's being kind to each other and kind of. Realize the love. It's almost like everything. You don't have it, you can search it all your life, maybe you'll never get it. So that's why I put all my strengths to that feeling through the, like, people love going out, having pizza, having a drink. So they celebrate life. They love each other. They in love. That moment when people in love, that's very important. If you think about the people who buy art, the only reason they buy art because they in love. Because
True.
angry people will never buy anything. If you look at even the collectors, the worldwide collectors who is doing it, they're basically, successful not only financially but also like the in that front also. You
No,
know,
you hit on some very good points, and you're right. Love is a very complex emotion because it does take on a lot of different connotations, sometimes anger, sometimes fear, and it expresses itself. And I think you capture that so well in the passion on your canvas, especially between the people, the couples.
Well,
Those are
this
my
is the thing
favorites.
about love, and this is the latest piece. It's called Barbecue. So actually, I was trying to finish it for the Memorial Day weekend because everybody barbecuing and everything.
Right.
She's also barbecuing in a way of her collecting the hearts, the love, So she's like another love she collects, for the weekends.
Oh,
So
I love that. That's
it's
great.
like, yeah, it's called barbecue. That's a look. He look saying you probably will be next.
Great.
You're
So
probably the top of it.
when you have collectors come in, I know when we had your work at Seaport Village, people would come and they would be so attracted to your work, and it really touched upon some very deep emotions. I had a lot of people connect with your work, and it reminded them of so many different things, from their family, childhood, to relationships. And do you find that people really have a connection with a certain piece of yours?
First of all, the first connection humans have with art is attractive. So it has to be an attractive piece of art. So they go to museum, you don't know. Sometimes you don't know who the artist is, but you already attractive to it. Because it has some energy inside. It's because when artist spend time, his time to create it. He really, really wants to create something, piece of art, which should be you looking at all the time. You know what I mean? When you collect art, you buy a piece of art and then you look at it every day. So you have to look and enjoy like small pieces. Like this one is not finished yet. Also, it's called Dream. It's kind of like coronavirus affected too, because they're trying to get your dream here. It's kind of growing like. And in her bed, her dreams with the cell phones not working and stuff like that. So the cats, so they're trying to create that feeling. But it's
So
taking
beautiful. I love that piece.
because you have to spend time doing these shades and everything. So the people, like you can see horses here, the sketch horses going. So it's like a prince with a corona. So it's sometimes you cannot even explain, the of your feelings what you do, but when you finish painting, you don't have to basically explain anything. You just basically enjoy it.
Well, it seems like this whole coronavirus has really pulled some things out of your own imagination, and now you're bringing that to the canvas. And the thing that's really amazing is that your themes are really about overcoming all of this and
Yeah.
inspiring people. And I
It's a
think that's what art does.
Yeah, it's remind me, it's remind me right away. In the first day when I hear this, it's remind me the Goya, Francisco Goya, because he was also lived through some artists also lived through that period of different pandemic, in Europe, and people that times they of course they don't have a doctors and doctor was like nothing, so they just burn down villages and people alive. They don't know. The solution was very simple: just stay home. Same solution was, but
Right,
they didn't know. So they don't want to stay home, or they maybe don't have supermarkets. I don't know. But that was in the 17th century. So he painted. He closed the door and he get all the wine and he paint. He make and this is the most powerful collection he created called Capriccios. That's very. It's all same problems we facing it right now. If you look in Francisco Goya, I mean, you cannot do better, and just like coronavirus all over again. So that's
I think it's true. And you're right now in this time that we're in, and you being an artist that is living and creating bodies of work, your artwork is going to chronicle this particular virus that's happened to us in this very interesting time of our lives.
it's not finished yet, Ruth-Ann. I want to show you something that basically everything is started, you know, with all drawings. See, basically, like you do making sketches first. So this is basically down to the old coronavirus ideas in a way, but with angle, people get more happy in the end, instead of just being ruined and hurt from that virus. Actually,
Right.
it's about almost 300 artists died for that period of time. Good, beautiful artists.
Right. No, I think what you're doing is brilliant because you are one of those artists, actually one of the few that I've really talked to on the show that are extracting so much from this and pouring it into your work. And I think that's really profound.
I think everybody have the same kind of feelings. They just don't know. They're a little bit maybe confused, in a way, because they're in the news now in the politics, and you don't know whether mess because you're Democrat or not wearing because you're Republican. It's confusing people, and instead of they just being simple and explain the real problem. The real problem is the humans being for a long time not pay attention to each other. Eating everything. You know what I mean? Not healthy, getting sick. With all the
Yes.
different sicknesses. And all of a sudden I catch up. I will catch it up with you.
Yes, I agree with that. And as a
Yeah,
native person, we have always felt that, the planet will repair itself. And I think this is just one of those moments in time where it's a big wake up call for all of us to
yeah,
just pay more attention to how we're living.
yeah. And
Um,
probably the galleries will win in this situation because people wants to go and the special spots when I can be a little bit more alone and be with something beautiful. So those, the feelings of terrible disasters coming down, being culture, because it's very important, like in Germany, for example, they don't pass that law. The galleries was still open all the time, just by appointments, because as I said, the galleries in art, it's not a necessity, it is, for
it
them.
is. It's an essential. I agree with you. I
Yeah,
really do.
like in the Second World War, I love the Churchill, maybe because he was artist, he said he was looking as ministers signed papers for the budget for next year, and it was a war, I think, in 1942, and he said, "What's about budget for the culture? Where is money for the culture?" And minister said, "Well, we have like, sir, we have like a war, we like
Right.
fighting Germans." And he said, "Well, if you don't have a culture, what we fighting for? What the
That's
hell we fighting for?" You know?
That's it. And I think
Mm.
that is, one of the things that you have that we don't have as Americans is, other than obviously I'm native, so I have that very, very old, rich culture here in this country before, the United States was established. But you come from such a rich history out of Europe, and I think you have probably through your art studies, you have a lot more perspective than a lot of us would, because you have had the ability to study and see buildings that were from the 1500s, you know, in your actual town.
Well, talking about that, because like in Ukraine, they have a special design, was always Ukrainian design, like with the crosses and everything. And all of a
Right.
sudden, it's all Indian design. You know what I mean? So how
Yeah.
that happened, the people was thinking the same kind of roots in the same field, you know, as they've been thinking about it. So this is the cultural people was spending time doing that, you know, to think about how to create beautiful things, you know, which is people don't have time doing that, you know,
Right.
calm
Well,
down.
your artwork speaks to what is the most important thing, and that is love and the social interaction. So tell us about, you had this show coming up, I think that you had said yesterday got canceled.
Yeah,
What
we
show was that
have
going to be?
a couple shows. We have like about 20 galleries in England. So every year we're doing shows there twice a year. Actually, we're doing May, like we're supposed to be there now, and we're doing one for the Christmas, like by the end of the year, which I hope we're gonna do
Right.
because they're great publishers, Buckingham Fine Art, and we publish in a book. It's Dennis been working on that book for 3 years with them.
Oh boy.
This is 170 pages. It's very limited edition. It's a special. They have insert like 2 pages, one with a drawing, one with a print. So you can collect the book signing. It's special. It's a first edition because we want to put some different drawings and different prints through all different publications, you know, so people collect different things. But this book, 170 pages was about the more like biographical. So then you spend all those 3 years, put those numbers, years, and drawings. Since, like for example, the drawing will be there. That's my first drawing. You can see that year. It's what it's 70. It's 75. See my fancy signature there that time.
Yes, I do. So this
So this
shows
is,
everything. This is from kind of the beginning of your professional career all the way till now.
yeah, because my parents actually, this is my father watercolors, you know, that's we spent some time, lots of times actually to, he teach me watercolors first, you know, that very gentle colors, you know.
Oh, so
Mm,
you come from a family of artists. I didn't realize
mm.
that.
My mom, she's doing my paintings through the sewing. It's a special actually sewing to the Chinese silk, you know, she developed that idea, you know, to be like a painting. So it's like,
Okay.
so this is my parents. I painted when I was only 26 years old. So that's how my parents met. They was in a theater. My mom, she was in a theater, and my father was a painter. He paint decorations in the theaters.
Okay, now it makes sense. So this is not something that, this is actually in your DNA.
Yeah, and then they put me in a school, which is the highest school. It was very hard. So this is some drawings like studies when I took with me because it's only a couple drawings and pieces left because everything was taken to museum and school. So I brought it with me, you know. So this is like it's like 30, 40 hours of drawing to make sure you have all the muscle, the bones, but it's not very showing, so it has to be smoothed out. So you know proportions.
I love
So
seeing these. I love seeing this because I see, you know, your classical training,
this
and
is
then, you know,
this
you
is
pull
like
from that.
when I paint my birthday in May 16. I was only 18 years old. See, I painted because my mom she brought all those lilacs home.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And
Very,
this one,
very
and this
nice.
one I paint like a 1 year before immigration. It was a big show in St. Petersburg, and I tried to create something like extraordinary from. It was a perestroika started, so you can paint whatever you wanted to paint because before you can, you know. So I paint.
That's incredible.
It's called party animals, wild dance. It's a wild boar and a wild giraffe, and a crazy dance. It's like when people partying, they can kiss each other, dancing, and then they'll be ashamed in the morning. So, but
Oh, I love that.
this is the part when everything goes, all the craziness, the drinks, oysters, shrimps, So
We're
this
ready to have a party like that.
we used to. Now we're in the coronavirus. We can do it like an internet.
So tell the folks what you're hoping, after this all ends. Do you have plans on having some big shows at your gallery, or what are
Yeah, yeah,
you thinking?
we definitely will do a show here before I go to England. But basically, we want to finish the book and to sign books with openings. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's very beautiful book. Then it's put with drawings, how the beginning all the way to the end. So I mean the time.
And where can folks get the book? Can they order it on your website?
Not yet, not yet. We're working on it. It's the publishing design. Basically, it's done. They just publishing design, go from one page to another, make sure it's no mistakes. And
Okay.
probably will be done by October, November.
I definitely want one of those. So put me on the list. I
Yeah.
can't wait to look through all the pages and see the progression, because I think that is so fascinating. And, you've had a great impact on the world. And I know that this has been hard for all of us, but I know that when things do lift, your work, these pieces that you've been doing during this time are so profound. I think that, in some ways, you may have just used this time to really push forward, because I'm seeing some pieces there that are just
Thank
almost
you.
above what I saw when you had your work in San Diego, if that's even possible.
Yeah,
So,
thank you. They all different, but they all have lots of things in common, like technically, because they use the finger. That way, for example, my palette. See this palette, the mountains of the paint.
mhm.
So this is the palette I use all my life since I was about 26 years old. And because I'm not mixing the color with a brush, I mix with a finger. So the paint it just grows. You can see which color I paint most, mix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're a master colorist. The way you pull colors off, I mean, it's really an amazing thing to see, because you pull colors together that shouldn't in reality really work. You make
Actually,
it work.
it's all Spanish technique. I learned from Hermitage making the copies. How they like Velasquez, how he made the colors so flat and so melted to each other. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
he wasn't use paintbrush. Because in face he used just his fingers.
Well,
To
that whatever you're doing, it's amazing. And everybody that I have met who have collected your work, they want to collect another one, and they want to collect another one. So, and your subject matter, you can collect all different ones, because you have all these different subjects besides just the ladies and the couples with the umbrella, but you have the Eiffel Tower and the drinks, and it's really uplifting work, very fun, I'd say.
thank you, Rosanne. Thank you. Yeah, we
Well,
will
thank you so
do.
much, my friend, for being on the show. Can you tell me where, if somebody wanted a commission or they wanted to see the paintings you have available, do you post those on your website?
Basically, we post in painting and working right now. We basically not share right away because people in China they will copy it. We have like such a bad.
Oh boy.
So we basically hold them up until we make a print. So we'll make a print. That's basically people love to see it with the order one, and that's basically. But if, like andreiart.com, you can see our latest collection. We just send it to the London. You can see it
Okay.
on the website, or you can just Google it. Andrei Protsouk will take
Okay.
you to all the shows.
I put it on here on this little streaming feed here. So folks, definitely take a minute, take a look, because we're just seeing a little sampling of the work. But when you go to the website, I looked at it yesterday, Wow, there's some beautiful pieces there.
We shipped about maybe 15 pieces just last week. So we just basically shipped there, because they're trying to get, prepare for the show for the autumn and put some in the books and everything. So they're doing very good job for us. We're so happy.
Oh, well, I'm so happy that you came on the show because your artwork is always uplifting. And that's what we need right now. So I really appreciate your passion.
I was thinking about you, and it's only a couple people in the art business who survived through all those storms, of the 9/11. It was the stock market was going down, everything. So I'm glad we're here, and because the art,
That's it. And I think it's that passion. This is what we're here on the planet for. I know you as an artist, you are contributing to your history in the making. And I'm here to, bring folks like you to the awareness of people. That's my passion. And that's what I'm going to do until it's all said and done. But we have that love for art.
Painting, Ruth-Ann. That's even harder than painted.
Sometimes, but I think, it's such a joy for me. And I feel like, that's my legacy. Hopefully my daughter will look back someday when I'm not here and say, hey, my mom was really an advocate for the arts and she was always looking for ways to promote artists. And that's what I'm here for.
And your mom, it's great. Your mom doing flowers, your daughter doing hearts. I do my hearts also. I love them.
Those two get together and I just get out of the way because they're in the studio, they get into their own art mode. And that's when I come back and see what's done later. It's fun. Well, bless you, my friend. Give my love to your family. Thank you so much for being on the show. And folks, make sure you go to the website and support this artist. If you see something that you like, this is a really great time to go ahead and collect that artwork. So you're supporting the arts and you're part of history in the making. So thank you again. Appreciate you being on the show today. And I can't wait to see you guys when things lift. We'll get you back out here to San Diego.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, take care.
All right, see you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What another treat. These artists that I've met over the years, they come on the show and I learn new things that I never even knew. I mean, I didn't realize that his parents were artists and I didn't actually ever have a chance to see the technique from the beginning where he starts with that line drawing and then builds upon it. And I actually like seeing the older works when he was a student. So you can see the bones of the art. You can see, wow, this person was classically trained. They're able to do all these different disciplines. And then when they come out with their own style, which is very unique to just that artist, you can see that the road that they travel to get to that place where they could create something so unique. So go to his website, folks, and check it out. We have some really great artists coming up. Another great sculptor on Friday, Nana Lopez. And on Wednesday, we have David White, who does those beautiful hand-blown glass waves. He'll be on the show along with a musician. That Cynthia, who works here, she brought on a very well-known friend of hers. I'll have to get his name, but you don't want to miss Wednesday and Friday, 1 p.m. live streaming right here, Art of the City. And please tell your friends, go out and enjoy the Memorial Day. I also wanted to give a shout out to all of those folks who are working in the medical community. It's Memorial Day, but I like to recognize them. And of course, we want to maybe take a little moment of silence for all those folks who have been affected by a family member, passing because of coronavirus. I think we don't really talk about it because it's sad. And I don't really like to talk about things that are sad, and I know you don't either, but it's good for us to acknowledge that there have been people really affected by this, and this is a good time to remember them. So have a great day, folks. Be blessed, and I will see you Wednesday, 1 p.m. live streaming right here, Art of the City. Have a great day.